It definitely feels like it's a hero that had a lot of success around the TI qualifiers and a little bit before that as well. And now with the nerfs that we've seen so far, we don't see as much Lina, but they at least have a way to offer out a lot of burst potential. The Grimstroke as well, I think, is one of the better supports that deal with the Tide, just because the Phantom's Embrace, the Kraken Shell, unable to purge it off, and really Tide, it's got a pretty slow attack animation, so it doesn't want to be spending a whole lot of his time actually trying to deal with the Phantom inside fights.
5 seconds
Yep,
remaining.
absolutely. It kind of, it's one of those kind of like block picks as well, right? Like if you pick an AA, you're probably not picking a Morphling, that sort of style. With the Grimstroke, it depends what position it's playing in, but let's say it's a position 4, you don't necessarily want to go for like that hyper carry, right? Because you can just get the Aghanim Scepter on the Grimstroke and then turn around a lot of that damage onto you. So you have to think, right, well, what's going to actually punish the Grimstroke? It's really just getting in onto the backline super quickly. Again, Grimstroke, another one of those supports. I think it's a good support, but it's another one of those supports that doesn't like to build things that provide it with a lot of sustainability. I mean, this is a great pick to be able to punish that, right? Because, you know, you don't want a Glimmer Cape, you want to go into like Aetherlens Ags or Aetherlens Blink Dagger on Grimstroke. And if you go on Earth Spirit, especially when it's skill A comfort hero, I think you're just setting yourselves up for success.
So is this now revealing that the Monkey King is more than likely played on the 1, or
I guess, it is. Yeah. I was about to say it could be a 5, but now it is, I would say.
This is a really interesting pick with the Oracle. Like, what do you feel like it is able to provide Yangon with what they see Polaris' draft as?
ET Purge for the Spirit. I'm assuming that, well, I mean, you can get rid of the Inkswell as well.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter what lane that they look to go into. It's going to be good regardless. So, yeah, I think it's good all around. What are they lacking, though? Not great tower push. Pretty single target outside of the Earth Spirit right now. Kind of low lockdown as well outside of the Tide Hunter. I don't know. I just feel... I don't know what it is, actually, but I just feel underwhelmed by Yangon's lineup. I do like this Night Stalker, though. Just get on top of that Oracle. What can you do?
It's also a nice hero to combine with the Grimstroke. Just any hero that's going to look to jump the fights with the Blink Dagger and potentially even just all you need is Dark Ascension should be enough to get in the middle. So really main priority here for the Night Stalker is just hunting down the Oracle. It's another way to also be a nuisance to the Tide, considering it's a AoE summon, so nothing Tide can do with the Kraken Shell. But like you were saying, they're kind of needing some damage in a way from Yangon, like something to kind of pull this lineup together. I think Lesh is one thing that could potentially do that. I mean, I really think Lesh is probably the best pairing with the Oracle, unless they go some crazy cheese pick like a Huskar or something.
Doubt it.
Yeah,
I think the Lesh is good. Like you mentioned, the Oracle pairing is good. It's decent in the lane against the Lina, and it's another one of those heroes that as long as you've got that Diabolic Edict and the Pulse Nova ticking, you don't really care that much if a Night Stalker's on top of you. Not that Night Stalker should be. Night Stalker's job is to take care of the Oracle this game. So I don't hate the Lesh at all. I think it'd be a very nice pick. It gives them a lot of what they're lacking. Tower push and a lot of damage. And even a little bit of stun, which is nice. So that's definitely the way that I would look to do it, and then a whole lot more of this game would be on the back of skill A, as well as well, they've been changing it around a little bit, right? Like Young PH and How have been kind of switching who plays mid, who plays carry, depending on the hero. So we'll see what they opt to do this time around.
Polaris actually feel like Conquer and Void Spirit. Maybe just extra team fight, extra catch, ways to initiate. Not heroes.
Like just that.
Yeah, I just, whenever I see an Oracle, I'm like, okay, I really want you to pair that hero up with someone who utilizes False Promise. Monkey King, not the worst, just because you have some form of sustain that can come through. But like, you want a hero that really gets the full toolkit out, and yeah, Lesh is definitely one of those heroes. So this now, it's like you picked a good combo, Oracle Lesh, but still you've got issues with the fact that Night Stalker is more than likely going to just counteract Oracle.
Now select your heroes.
Oof, that is a tough lane. I mean, what? That's a a Grim Night Stalker, and then a ET Troll Warlord, two of the best laning stage heroes in regards to supports and carries. So Lun and Skillay are not going to have too fun of a time.
Yeah,
Always.
I'm probably gonna go with Polaris for this one.
Have we got a 3 Oracle actually? Are they
maybe. Maybe they've switched up roles a little bit. Not sure, but Zorain definitely used to be the position 3. This game is so heavily on the back of Earth Spirit in my eyes. If Yangon Galacticos are going to have any chance, I feel like you have to ignore the Night Stalker. It's going to be pretty rare for him to die in team fights. I feel like you have to ignore the Troll Warlord, and it's going to be based on information basically. So if Elder Titan is visible away from the Lina, you got to kill the Lina. If Elder Titan is around the Lina, you got to kill the Elder Titan first, at least prior to BKB, which is a position 4 you're probably not going to have super early on. So we'll see how they do it, but I feel like if Skillay is able to pop off, which he's shown he's perfectly able of doing, they've got a chance. But overall, I would have to favor Polaris.
Yeah, I really just want to see where they're trying to lane everyone as well. If they are swapping up the roles, or in fact, if it is going to be a position 3 Oracle. So time will tell. No, so it looks like they've swapped up their roles. So Lun off to the offlane, and Zorain is now playing the support. So I was gonna say, if you're running an Oracle 3, that gives me a little bit of worry, but I've not really been too convinced whenever I've seen Troll Warlord. So I'm excited to see at least how he's gonna fare in this game. I mean, it's a great way just to really... You're quite the lane dominator, and you're a ranged hero as well, which I think makes it more difficult for Ty to use his strong suits in the lane to be able to trade effectively. So I think that's going to be a huge benefit here for having the troll. But how he can scale it into the late game is a different question, because Battle Fury is not the greatest item at the moment.
No, definitely not. They were able to scout out this sentry ward that was placed, so it was a smoke wasted, unfortunately, for Yangon Galacticos. They didn't use the shift Q to be able to move quite as quickly as he should have. So I think you should be fairly capable of getting that D ward off. Although Boomy, he looked to prioritize warding up the small camp instead. Don't hate it. I mean, you definitely want that in the laning stage, just so that you can continuously have that ongoing kill threat with the Night Stalker.
See some contention potentially by this bottom Eco. He's gonna be alright. We'll take up a little bit of damage. I say he's gonna be alright. Maybe it's just the good old caster curse. They got so many stuns where he's not alright at all. Zorain picking up first blood with a position 5 Oracle. We'll see how this extra little gold is gonna help out here. I think he just brought some extra regen in it and double sentry. Yep, so looking to put a lot of emphasis on making sure these camps stay blocked down bottom.
Yeah, sentries still, in my eyes, heavily underutilized by a lot of supports. Not Zorain, that's for sure. Although, can we even really call him a support? This is the first time I've seen it.
Yeah, I wonder how... Have you been able to catch other Yangon games? I haven't had the opportunity. I'm not sure if this is just... maybe they are bottom of the table, 1 in 5 map count, so maybe they are looking for a bit of a switch up to build some momentum.
They're usually the later games, so I'm probably asleep by that point. Not today, though.
Not today, indeed. It's top Skillay. Well, at least they've still got him on the Earth Spirit, but a crit trip back to the well is going to mean Lun has to solo this matchup. Creep Equilibrium, a little bit wonky at the moment. Not easy.
CML doing a good job at bullying him as much as possible, right? Like, you're going to get an advantageous matchup in one of these lanes, right? With Zorain versus Boomy. To be a little bit careful here of his positioning, although it is just the Stroke of Fate level 1, not the Inkswell.
How do you feel like this bottom lane is actually going to fare, though, for Polaris? Because in my opinion, I think Night Stalker is a very weak laner for the first 5 minutes. But you're up against an Oracle 5, which is not the greatest laning support as well. So do you feel like Polaris are going to be able to get away with this?
I think Oracle support is fine, but you gotta get level 3 first. That's when you really start to pump out a lot of the damage. You're gonna have someone like a Monkey King that's able to dish it out very quickly as well. And you can see he's opted to go into the double mango build, so he wants to constantly be spamming out those purifying flames as much as possible. Let's just see if it does eventuate, though. He's gonna get a pull off. It's just on the small camp, and it's gonna be scouted out by Boomy. But I certainly I don't hate how Yangon are going to be able to go this lane. It's just you're kind of playing this little balancing act here, right? Like, you're a support, it's underneath the tower, the wave, so you don't want to be taking what is essentially free experience away from your Monkey King. But also, to be effective in the lane, you do need that level 3. So it's kind of like, yeah, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, it would have been great if he was able to find the connection on the pool previously. Just would have given him that much closer of a time to level 3 where they could utilize that with the aggression that Hao wants to put out. He's working on the Orb of Corrosion, so yeah, they're really looking to try and dominate the laning stage before the Night Stalker can really be that nuisance. But mid lane at the moment, pretty Mac favored, 19-7 compared to the 14-2. Do you feel like there's any external factors that could turn this side one way or another?
Probably just skill A, right? Like, he's the only one that I could see making a rotation through that mid lane and securing a kill. It's just, it would be huge, right? Because overall, Lina is stronger than Leshrac, but certainly is one of those heroes that if it does die a few times, you can slow down a lot of the momentum very quickly.
Yeah, definitely a hero that thrives on the momentum, which I feel like can definitely build up this game with a support that can enable him, like the Oracle.
Nico's in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, Hao's been able to stack up the Jingu. Only one more charge available, but with that last right click is enough. And that was a timing with the Orb of Corrosion completed as well and delivered. So a big kill for the Monkey to pick up just before the first nighttime.
And it's not even just that as well. Zorain did a really good job of making sure he had the Dire camp on top of him. Oh, sorry, the Dire creep wave on top of him. So that, hold on, as well coming out here. Look to continue further.
That he's going to. Just being able to stack it up and find another kill for Hao. So beautiful play, just playing on the outskirts, making sure he doesn't get stunned up from the Inkswell. So this Monkey King is at least having a really good start.
He is. Top side, looks like Lun's being chased down a little bit here with the rotation attempted through from skill. I didn't end up resulting in anything, but might cause the Tidehunter is death.
He's got 2 points in Kraken Shell, so a very defensive start here from Lun. It's actually going to be enough to get him back to safety, especially with the saving grace from skill A swinging on over as well. I mean, this does force the Earth Spirit to play away from mid. Not that he was kind of needed to secure a rune, but it is enabling Mac to be top of the last hits.
I was praying a little bit that he would kick the Elder Titan back underneath the Radiant Tower, but that could have got the Tide killed, so probably best that he didn't look to do it. Yeah, I really like, from what little we've seen so far of Zorain playing the position 5 on the Oracle, I think he's done a pretty damn good job. Like I mentioned before, as the fights were starting to break out, he pulled the creep wave away from the tower so that even though Hao looked to make a pretty long rotation to secure the kill on the Night Stalker, he didn't actually lose any creeps underneath the tower, so really nicely done there. Speaking of rotations, we've actually got Zorain. He's going to look to get a stack up and secure the bottom power rune. Track going towards the top one, so very nicely done.
He's going to get the jump. Okay. Oh, Mac!
All right, never mind.
Absolute obliteration of Zorain's life, and now they're going to force Skill A to run into the direction of the Lina. Great placement of CML's Spirit there. Put Skill A in between a rock and a hard place. Luckily enough, though, it's not too hard of a place. He's able to scurry himself out to safety. They're putting a lot of emphasis on trying to keep this tower alive, or in fact Polaris to be the ones on the aggressive front. They know the Laguna's on cooldown, which is a lot of the burst potential, but that Echo Storm onto 2 will give Boomy an opportunity to swing on 4. They still got to be careful, because the early tower hits are too much for them to bear.
The tower hits, plus the bottle refill at the start of that, plus the raindrops that young PH had at his disposal, ended up saving his life. So very nicely done. They'll even, I was about to say get a D ward, but good positioning there by Mac to make sure that doesn't happen. I wonder if that's the thing that they should change. No more of this silly little bottle refilling.
You're not a fan of the bottle refill?
I mean, maybe I just have very needy mid players in my games, but they're just always begging for it. I'm like, bro, we've got 5 kills in the bot lane at 3 minutes. Just let us do our thing.
I feel like mid laners are always entitled, right? Is it just me? Ran into a couple too many?
You gotta call them out like that, well.
Yeah, well.
Get ready for them to run it down next game.
Gross. Someone's gotta do it, I tell you what. Radiant trying to catch out their own counterpart in the mid lane, but Lena's already back up to the northern jungle, so Mac okay with his positioning. We'll just have to get the lesser target in Boomy, but that's not the worst target if they can transition a kill into an objective, or at least some form of damage, but I just want the rune control, and Young PH is able to refill the bottle thanks to the illusion.
I like it. They're even looking to take away some of these other camps, just the small camp for now on Young PH. They didn't scout out the fact that there was, I believe, 2 additional stacks of the ancient camp there in the dire jungles. So maybe something that they might want to consider. Leshrac very good at being able to take those super early on, provided he's got the mana pool to do so. As what's Skill A doing here? They have some vision here on Mac, but
Mac might be in trouble, in fact. Yeah, look at this Edict go to work along with the Pulse Nova. He's got some assistance with Nico, swing on the outskirts, and Young PH and Skill A. I mean, this is no man's land now here for the boys on Radiant. They're going to have to hope and pray that Skill A's body blocks is enough, but Nico, one more round of the Void should close the distance, and now he's going to look to roll out to safety. Skill A
no TP.
Make it. Meanwhile, Natsumi will also make it out, so Skill A is going to opt to deny himself to the tower to try and take away some of the gold that Nico can find, but, I mean, his Love and Life gets a kill right in front of the wall, pretty much, and it's closing in on a very good timing of the Blink Dagger from this Night Stalker.
Solo XP as well. Very valuable for a Night Stalker to get those levels up ASAP. He wants to make sure that as soon as that Oracle's level 6, he wants to be probably about level 8, just so that he can have that 1 point in the Crippling Fear to take him out at the start of every single team fight.
Do you believe that the Oracle should be playing around wherever the Leshrac is at the moment, or does that depend on the level 6 and then he might look to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. It depends entirely on that. Right now, his main job is just to make sure that Hao isn't getting consistently ganked. He's the one player on Yangon that's having an exceptional game right now. He's well ahead of his counterpart, about 700 gold. Although it might change if he's put a bit of a rough spot here, as that Phantom's Embrace should actually pop.
Yeah, if he forces the hand to TP in, I mean, if you're going to dive that deep when you're the top of the net worth, you've got to think twice about doing so, CML. Will still fall, but I mean, that's a worthy sacrifice. She'll pick up a double kill, and whenever you can get the person on top of the net worth, Mac is just going to further and further close the distance with a double for the Lina.
Yeah, Skille was kind of considering whether he would go up to join the rest of his team, but instead he makes the rotation down towards the mid lane. You've got the Siege Creep available, you've got the Diabolic Edict. They have the Glyph, so the rotations are going to start coming through. So who's Skille going to try and get onto here?
Nico. First use of the Dark Ascension. Nice kick away from Skille will actually give Leshrac a little bit more breathing room to get back to the safety of the T1
Magnetize.
tower. So gotta be cautious how deep they want to dive. Going to the Magnetize, connecting onto multiple heroes, but Nico flying through the wings. Meanwhile, top side of the map, Hal looking for a solo kill, and he should be able to find it on Boomy. That long swing of the staff from afar, thanks to the massive amount of attack range that somehow all these new heroes get.
It's just not fair. I was like, oh, okay, he's got a Brood Handle. Nope. Possess Mask.
Just
I think they could still just look to play around the mid lane, right? Like, it's daytime, they just use Dark Ascension, you've got all of your health and mana, there's no glyph available anymore. So Young PH, he's just going to dodge out the... Oh, not sure about that positioning there from Zoraim. He'll be fine, and they'll take a mid-tier 1 tower. So objective 1 accomplished there. They're just going to look to roam up and take this top tier 1 as a team. How? He's just going to continue to farm. Just trying to think, like, who are the main heroes that they need to try and take out right now if you're on Yangon Galacticos? You'd have to say it's Mac, right? Just look to consistently put him in the bin, prevent him from having any kind of impact. Nico, he kind of needs to play a little bit more of this selfish role right now, at least for the next, I'd say, minute or so. He wants to get closer to that Blink Dagger. It's daytime for at least another 15 seconds until he's got that Dark Ascension available. Nearly 3 minutes for the actual nighttime. So, yeah, I feel like Polaris, they're going to try and sit back a little bit. Maybe the supports will play around the rest of their team or act as like the super deep roaming observer ward to be able to provide the additional vision to allow the carries to farm in a little bit more safety.
I'm looking to try and see if Yangon can deal with Mac like you were saying before BKB. I mean, she's incredibly farm, 3-0-1, second in the net worth, but once Mac picks up BKB, it's just going to get that much more difficult to kill off the Lina. So who's the combo got to be? The skill A +1? But you know, I guess Monkey can look to join, and Leshak has got the yours to play with the Earth Spirit as well.
I honestly don't think Monkey even needs to. I think it can be Lesh, Oracle, Earth Spirit that are this roaming gank squad that try and catch her out, because she still is quite fast. You know, she's got the boots of travel. She's consistently going to have that fiery soul available. So you need to be able to lock her in position. Not that the Fortune's End is going to be able to dispel the fiery soul, but it'll still lock her in position to allow for the chain stuns to happen.
But Mac just posturing towards the bottom side of the map. You see CML with how he's positioning as well on the Elder Titan, almost
Top
like
side,
he's just
actually.
expecting. But top, Nico, you were hoping to see him just farm up this Blink Dagger. Unfortunately, Yangon not going to give him an opportunity to find that much necessary
Got a
first
decent
item.
Like, he got about 600 gold during the past minute and a half, so that's not too bad when it comes to a daytime Night Stalker. They're also able to get a Grimstroke as a bit of an extra prize there, the Stake Knives.
Do they get much damage on the tower? No, it's still pretty much up to full. Another Kree wave coming through, but
They got Glyph as well, so you don't want to commit too heavily.
they recognize this on the side of Yangon, so just looking to swing on over. Here we haven't really spoken about is Natsumi's Troll Warlord, who's unscathed so far this game. Got the Treads, Maelstrom along with the Falcon Blade, so starting to pick up the farm here with the Troll.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, obviously not doing quite as well as the Monkey King just because of how relatively passive he's been. Only been involved in 1 kill versus the Monkey King involved in how many? 8? I mean, that's definitely going to be the key difference maker there. Also going into the Maelstrom just to accelerate his farm a little bit after the Echo Saber. Don't hate it. I was about to say, could I even see him going into the Glype now? I still think it's an underappreciated item.
Polaris,
Nico.
they're actually looking to get
Nighttime.
active up top. Back still without the BKB, but exactly like you said, nighttime, that's whenever they're looking to pounce. It doesn't matter if they don't have the ultimates or the key items required. They're even scouting out how to.
Now, was that a smoke? Or was that just them walking up to him?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think they just
I don't
walked
think so
up.
either. They just walked up, but that was what he was doing. He was basically being the smoke breaker there. So the fact that he dies isn't even the worst. Like, it's nighttime. I was thinking, well, why is he there if he's not together with the rest of his team? But they would have known that the nighttime was coming. There was no way they were going to kill Nico just with the 2 of them. So ends up allowing How to get back. He's finished up the Maelstrom. He's able to continue farming. So no harm, no foul for Yangon right now. Might be looking for a smoke here, actually, as he just recently TP'd into the mid lane, maybe looking to secure the power rune first. Got all 4 heroes Ravage available, going into the Heaven's Halberd, actually, instead of a Blink Dagger here on Lun. That's one of the advantages of having such a deep dive style of hero like Skill A on his Earth Spirit.
I guess even young PH might be able to start some fights as well with the yours. Oh, top lane, How? Just a solo kill on Boomies. You got to use any ultimates for it. He does not. So How's having an exceptional performance on the Monkey King.
Yeah. Immediately pinging out, by the way. As soon as that Earth Spirit TP'd to the top side of the map, there were pings all towards the bottom side, basically saying, Troll Warlord, you can play here, because they don't have the setup.
Okay. Actually just a blink away to safety with Skill A and Lund looking to show up there. We still haven't seen our first Ravage of the game as well here. Radiant continuing to hold this for a long period of time, but do you feel like the tempo is going to start to ramp up relatively shortly, or are people still waiting to find their items?
I think it should, honestly. Like, if I haven't seen a Ravage until this stage of the game, I'm like, all right, that's because he's farming. But have a look at Lund's net worth. He is easily like the lowest on his team. He's ahead of the Night Stalker still, but I would definitely look to have more if I was, you know, not team fighting as this Tide Hunter.
He had a very difficult start to the game as Zorain's going to be in trouble as well as Nico looks to jump on forward. Just a quick 1-2 punch thanks to Laguna Blade. Able to obliterate the Oracle, and Polaris can't really get much out of this. They do have top waves starting to shove on forward, so they might look to drop some wards down by the secret shop and continue to posture to potentially take this tier 1 and maybe an extra kill as well as they're going to look to jump. Sure, on top of the Tide Hunter. Now, it's not the easiest target. Prioritize dealing with the Phantom's Embrace and start to swim himself out to safety towards the rest of the reinforcements. But this has really given Polaris just firm control of the top side of the map now.
Not a huge fan though of, excuse me, Boomy.
Oh, bottom lane, Young PH. Couple of TPs from Polaris, so they'll be able to cut off the retreat from the Fairy Pony, and it's going to be his second death of the game as well. And nope, the rest of Dire, nice awareness, just looking to get out of dodge to make sure they don't cough up a death up top. And now that they've repositioned themselves, they can in fact just go back in. Natsumi and CML combined together. It's not enough to go through Zorain at the moment. He's got to use the False Promise incredibly defensively. That is the ulti used. It does cost the life of the Elder Titan, however.
Yeah, I mean, he was previously pinging around there where he got ganked previously, and he's like, oh, they have to have vision. There's no way. It's nighttime. They can't see me. But, my man, you're playing against the Night Stalker. He is the vision that you have. And speaking of which, he's been able to find out Zorain another time.
See if the Ravage is going to come into play here. It will. Lun clips onto multiple heroes. It's enough damage to be able to clean off the Night Stalker. And now they can look to transition to bring down the Grimstroke as well. A 2-for-1 trade, which maybe they can transition into the Rose. They're thinking about it. Only 1 point in Gush will make it a bit difficult.
I think if you still have Ravage, you do it. If you don't, then you got to just back off and keep farming.
They just want kills instead. They won't catch up Mac at the moment. Yeah, they're going to be cautious though. Mac's still got the BKB to play with. There's the initial stun. Is the fault going to be perfect? It is. Mac gets burnt to crisp, and our CML too. Gonna try and play around with the Echo Stomp. They've got some extra heroes coming up shortly. Even Nico is going to look to try and take the fight with Natsumi hiding in the wings. They're going to be cautious with how deep they've dived, and they will finally be penalized as Natsumi can just start to rip them apart. The further stacks building up here. As his Troll Wallet, he wasn't involved too heavily through the start of the game, but now he's starting to find his form.
Gonna go for more with the use of that Ink Swell. Doesn't have the Blink Dagger off cooldown just yet. Still looking to make Zorain's life a living hell. But now, suddenly, things have turned around the other way. Yes, they... Oh, how? That's a cheeky play here. Is he going to go for it?
He's going to... Okay, Natsumi's actually looked to man-fight this. No roots at all. It looks like he's not even winning the man fight at the moment inside the Wukong's How. Amplified thanks to the Oracle, and that was quite the ambitious attempt, and now Max also in trouble. A BKB still available. A beautiful placement in the Earth Splitter would just force Yangon to Delta split. As Young PH is off to safety to the northern side, but Skillet's still going to look to roll in forward. The extra assistance a little bit lacking, however, as Yangon, they kill the troll, they get CML too.
Some really nice plays coming out from How as well as Skillet. I was thinking that was very ambitious just to look to try and man-fight the Troll Warlord, but he just ends up kiting him out, right? You've got good movement speed, you were able to use the slow on the Troll Warlord to be able to kite him out a little bit further, isolate him from the rest of the team, and then take him out. Ravage up in 10 seconds. You know that it's not nighttime for at least another 50 seconds. They look to make that rotation immediately as soon as that key Night Stalker cooldown was used, and oof, that's a good one. Heaven's Halberd be able to take out either Night Stalker or the Troll Warlord. I think we might even see the Tide Hunter look to pair together with the Oracle a little bit more in these next few team fights, just to make sure that that doesn't happen. You're not getting focused from 100 to 0 without being able to pop a single spell. Does put a lot more emphasis on Nico to be able to pick up something like a BKB so that that doesn't happen. And yeah, he previously had a Sange queued up and he just switched it over to being a BKB.
Radiant are scanning.
It just feels like the issue with the Night Stalker though. Like lane didn't really go atrociously, but it's a hero that can't particularly keep up in farm, and you really rely on just getting kill after kill, and when you don't have that occurrence, you start to really fall behind like he has this in the net worth in this game. I mean, in fact, that Grimstroke has a higher net worth. Mac, once again, is leading the charge into an area of the map where you really shouldn't be playing. So another use of the BKB completely wasted, and it's going to cough up the life here of the Grimstroke as well.
End comes at a price.
Top tower gone. Glyph 15 seconds off, being off cooldowns. They'll have another use of the Diabolic Edict before that happens, and they've even got the siege creep behind them as well. So this should be some decent damage actually being pumped into the tier 3 tower.
Just got the BKB on Troll. Doesn't want to come back at the moment considering how close he is to the Basher, but it's going to recuperate themselves and head back up. So the Aegis for another 3 minutes 20. Ravage at the ready, and all the heroes available from Yangon for this siege.
I'm sure like he's under the cover of the Smoke of Deceit right now. Zorain just wanting to provide himself with as much safety as possible. I like it.
There we go. They're looking for the start. They need the Oracle. Zorain, #1 priority from Nico, but he hasn't been able to find the opening just yet. He'll need some extra assistance. Meanwhile, they've dealt with the first life. How? Super far on the front line. He doesn't get the timing of the BKB, however. Back already used the Laguna Bay previously, so they're going to look to turn thanks to the help with the false promise. Otherwise, they're actually just going to reset their positioning. They don't want to stick around too far. Nico still giving them this huge vision advantage on the back line, but Yangon able to recognize as long as we just hold hands up on the high ground, it'll make it very difficult for them to collapse.
It was a very good start to the team fight by Yangon Galacticos there, but yeah, things just kind of fell apart as soon as the BKB and the false promise were both used at the same time. It meant that you had nothing to save the Lesh. You couldn't continue to commit, even though they don't have the Glyph of Fortification available. Mackie's gone on a little bit of a hunt here for young PH. I wonder if he'll need to be a little bit more careful. Actually, young PH, he's kind of
maybe he's hunting,
venturing into no man's land a little bit here. He's got skill A backing him up.
Spirit is with a 4-staff, so at least got one way to help mitigate a lot of the Night Stalker, you know, the troll issues. I mean, it's even great versus the Elder Titans as well. Maybe just to reposition yourselves against the Earth Splitter or Echo Stomp. So a lot of utility starting to be picked up from Radiant. We'll see how this is going to, you know, deter at least Polaris from being able to take a lot of fights heading into the later stages of this game.
Bumi's still looking to go into the Aghanim Scepter. I'm not sure how strongly I feel about that. You know, it's Monkey King, right? Like, it doesn't deal that much on its own, just through base attack damage. You're so heavily focused around your Boundless Strike, around your Jingu Mastery, that I'm not sure how effective that's going to be. I would much rather see something like, you know, an Aghanim Shard, for example. He's got it, yeah. But like a Blink Dagger, for example, to be able to use that when, you know, Night Stalker maybe has gone a little bit too deep, or when you need to use it to quickly lock down someone trying to TP away, or something along those lines. Like, quickly get a silence onto the Oracle.
Yeah, it kind of feels like you... I wonder if you could look at it in regards to Troll and Lina dish out a ridiculous amount of damage, but I feel like they want to be enabled a little bit to make sure they're not kited. So yep. I feel
even
like...
Even a 4-star would be fine, in my eyes.
No, I do like the Aghanim Shard a lot, though. I know you brought that up straight away, and I think it's a big one to just enable the Troll or the Lina. Just give you some defensive factor, because you're going up against the Oracle on Radiant, which they've nullified a lot of the potential that Zorain has had through fights, mainly just with the Night Stalker. But I need to see someone else jump with Nico, and we don't really see that capability at the moment.
I mean, Nico's not really making it easy for himself either, right? He went a bit more of this farming build. He doesn't have the levels that he would probably want, so he's only got the 2 points in the Crippling Fear. That is a long downtime, like 20 seconds between it if he's not able to net a kill in that first little bit. So, yes, he was providing a lot of vision in that previous fight, but that was because he couldn't really do much of anything else. So I think the main priority for me would be A, getting Nico his BKB, and B, making sure that he's level 15. 16, honestly. Like the plus 40 Dark Ascension damage is just going to be a boon in itself.
Unfortunately for Nico, is having a bit more rougher of a time, so we'll see if the extra net worth that Grimstroke is able to utilize in this game can work out in their favor. But I haven't seen many.
He's farming so aggressively as well. Like
Yeah.
he's standing next to the radiant areas. They saw him walking under there.
Nico's crazy.
Maybe just relying on his. I'm sure one finger's on the Blink Dagger key right now.
It's just nighttime things. That's all it is for the Night Stalker. He's gonna give them so much information for this smoke. They will not expect the full wraparound that they have available at the moment. Smoke's gonna pop. Radiant. Honestly, very good spot for them to fight as well.
Yeah, I can see him
With
though.
their vision advantage, Nico, who does want to target. He's got a Dark Ascension further into Lun.
It's already no.
It's a rough life as a support. Especially when you got all these heroes just to catch you out like that. And now with the numbers advantage for Polaris, they're going to look to try and fly on forward for more. Lun and Skill A lacking at the moment with their positioning, but the rest of the heroes just back towards the objectives. Alright, still going to look to pounce though, Nico. Last remaining of this Dark Ascension has given them enough vision advantage to claim a secondary kill. So now with that, they can go back and claim the T1 tower.
All right. Well, it ends up being not too bad. The excursion that Nico was going in, he's behind his Grimstroke in net worth, by the way, just for a little bit of an update. But he's still accomplishing what he needs to. You know, locking the Oracle out of these team fights, making sure to provide all of that vision, especially given that he has such great vision advantage and the enemy teams is reduced at this point of the game. That BKB is going to enable him so much, though. Importantly, he's just building up those levels. So level 16 plus BKB, Nico, even though he might still be 6th, 7th in net worth, will skyrocket in terms of his effectiveness in these team fights.
And I feel like at least the Night Stalker gets a pretty easy job, or at least an easy one to read as well. Like they pick this hero to deal with the Oracle. Just jump him. Doesn't matter. You don't kill him. Cool. That's all fine and dandy. Controlling for 7 seconds, let the rest of the team burst another hero down. You've got Laguna, you're going to combine that up with the natural order. It's a ridiculous amount of burst potential. Just cut one hero down and then kite the Oracle as well with your position 3.
I think he's even got 2 jobs. Like, I feel like his main job is to kill the Oracle first. He's got the Ghost Scepter, so he's going to be a lot more survivable, which is good. And then beyond that, I feel like it's going to be the Crippling Fear who'll be back off cooldown 8 seconds after the first usage. So that'll give him enough time to just be around, be that vision creator, and then the secondary initiator's onto the Tide Hunter. Again, this is a Tide Hunter that doesn't have the build where he's gone into a BKB. He doesn't have a Force Staff, so there's nothing that's going to enable him to pop his Ravage for another 7 seconds with the second usage of that Crippling Fear. So that's going to be Nico's main role in these team fights to come. But you know, he needs to get to level 16 to be able to make that happen.
Yeah, 100%. I think with how Lun is itemized, he's really all in on the fact of kiting Troll with the Halberd, or being this mass initiation where the rest of Yangon just instantly follow up. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, Lesh can just dish out so much damage in these fights where with one Ravage, that's enough to kill off multiple heroes. But like you were saying, yeah, he hasn't really itemized defensively in a way to keep him alive. Like Halberd's great utility item, but no force, no BKB. You're against a Grimstroke who counters you. You're against the Night Stalker with the AoE silence. There's multiple things that Track and Shot just has no effect into. So him not itemizing to keep him alive really puts Lun in a bit more of a tricky scenario on how he can really play this game.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm seeing a Ghost Scepter as well on Earth Spirit, which I thought was a little little unorthodox. You know, he's one of those heroes. Maybe he just wants to roll in, try and bait out a bunch of abilities into his face. But I feel like if you're rolling in, unless you're chain stunning or silencing a Lina, you're probably just going to get a Laguna Blade to the face, and you don't want to be amping up that damage at all. So maybe it's just for the use of trying to kite out the Troll Warlord a little bit, you know, trying to get him to move a little bit closer to you through the use of your Rolling Boulder, and then once he's on top of you, you pop the Ghost Scepter, just to, again, kite out the big durations of these huge teamfight ultimates that are absolutely necessary for Polaris to enable the Troll Warlord to just stand and fight, because kind of similar to what we've seen in previous games, there is no big AoE chain lockdown for them. It's not like they have a Tide Hunter. It's not like they have a Mars or anything like that. So it is quite heavily based around the Troll Warlord ultimate as opposed to a position 3 ultimate.
Which we do see Troll is continuing to find a lot of items. He's still got the 7-second duration with the BKB. Scotty, I believe, was the last item completed with 2,200 gold in the bank. What would you hope to see Natsumi go for next? Is he needing a little bit of extra control with maybe something like an Abyssal Blade, or could Satanic be on the cards here to help his survivability?
Don't hate the Abyssal Blade. I feel like it's going to be pretty solid, especially against some of these heroes that are quite speedy, you know, being able to lock down the Leshrac a little bit further. Honestly, wouldn't even hate a Nullifier on top of things, to be able to reduce the Yule Scepter's effectiveness on the Leshrac. Both Earth Spirit and Oracle have Ghost Scepters, so I think it'd be a totally fine pickup.
It is the question of how much farm is Natsumi going to be able to find before they really look to break open this game. I mean, we got 34 kills at about 30 minutes in, but we haven't really seen as many, you know, big team fights. It's just been a lot of these little skirmishes, pickoffs across the map, but you know, it's going to get to the stage where both teams are going to be forced to 5-on-5. And you know, do you feel like there's a lineup that you'd feel a little bit more comfortable when you go up against each other head to head?
With their current items?
Yes.
Yangon, but as soon as Night Stalker has BKB, probably Polaris. And if it's nighttime. Or at least Dark Ascension available.
Okay, so pretty much it really feels like a lot of the attention has to be drawn on Nico. I think we're, like, even though his net worth is not looking good and we don't really feel like he offers a lot of kill threat, I think it's just with how he's going to look to drag a lot of the attention. And we also saw what happened in game 1, I think, of our first series, where Boom just had like a ridiculous amount of vision advantage, and that's going to be the same here with Polaris and Nico.
Well, things are going to change. The reason I was saying the Nullifier previously as well is that, like, Nico has been doing a good job at being able to find the Oracle and make sure he dies in every single team fight. Surely he's not going to die in every single team fight. Like, you're going to be able to survive through the use of that Ghost Scepter as long as you're waiting until the Crippling Fear is on top of you. He might be able to hit you like once, but that's not going to kill you, right? So at least you'll be able to survive. And so he needs to, like, he's not going to be able to have that secondary initiation onto the Tide Hunter. So right now, Yangon, they're in a pretty decent positioning right now. I really want to see that Nullifier, though. Might be the next team fight, though, that gives that information through to Polaris, because I believe the Ghost Scepters are quite recent that they were able to pick up, particularly on the Earth Spirit. So I think that might be something that catches them a little bit off guard. And considering that Roche is going to be up in a couple of minutes, I mean, that's really where my eyes are at the moment. You know, how are they going to be able to play around that key timing, where around 31.5 minutes is the timing. Nightstalk will have BKB. Roche will be up. It will be daytime. Any other big items coming through? Not really. Or any coming out on the courier? No, not really either. So there's nothing really big that's set to be finished up in the near future. So I feel like Yangon, they just need to make the most of this small window that they have.
It definitely feels like Radiant, honestly, both teams are going to have a big window at taking a fight by Roche. I think you take a look at Radiant with their lockdown and at least their small AoE control that you have through Ravage and through Wukong's, you want this fight in a close proximity, but you're pretty similar to Dire as well. Like you leash up Soulbind, you're into a devastating combo from CML. Even the rest of the heroes have a decent amount of AoE too. So, a fight by the Roche Pit might not just be in favor of one team and not the other. There's definitely ways that they can each play around it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we've been paused for a little bit. You might be able to see in the chat there that there's 3 minutes of pause time left for Yangon Galacticos. Must be using a hard drive for his Windows partition on his PC, if it's going to take a while for him to get back in. While we wait, though, I'm going to steal a little bit of something from Cinderin and Sons fan. It is trivia time. So,
oh, no. All right, let's do it.
no looking at neutral items.
Okay.
I want to quiz you on passive names. Blast Rig. What is the passive name for the ability on Blast Rig?
Can I get the first letter? Can I get a hint?
It's 2 words. You're not going to get it.
Okay, wait. No. Give me first of both.
All right. You won't get the first one. The second one is T.
Triggered. Got it.
Okay, yes. Trigger is the second word.
Nice.
And the first one is like what you call something
Hair?
that... A hair trigger. There you go.
Wait, I go crazy. Chat, you guys even saw I didn't even try and cheat.
I'm going to watch the VOD. I'm going to make sure.
Damn, I'm
what
actually
other-
too goddamn good. Where is it? All right. Damn, put some respect on the trivia.
Mhm.
You got any more difficult ones? I don't know. That was kind of piece of piss, honestly. You're 1:30 in the
Alright.
morning. You're giving me some easy stuff like that. Come on.
True. I mean, there's not really any... I mean, do you know what Spider Legs one is called?
Mobilize? I don't know.
Scurry.
Scar. Okay. What's the starting stats of techies?
Oh, no, get out. I don't know anything about that horrible hero.
What? Come on, bro. Just do better. I don't know what else to say.
Starting stats of techies.
Why are you a techies hater?
What do you mean, why am I taking set? All right, well, he's an int hero, so he's going to have good int gain. His...
What are you actually doing?
His attack speed is pretty terrible. Well, your starting stats, like, that's... What did you want? Like, strength,
pretty much.
agi, int?
Yeah.
I mean, that's... I
No,
can't
no.
do that.
No, I was trying to pull the legs. You're 130.
I know weird things, like Bane, all of his attribute gain is 2.4 for each 3 thingos. I know that.
Thingos, you mean
2.5. Sorry. So he has 22 of strength, agi, int, and he gets 2.5 each level. So he's the only one that it's the same across the board.
So Bane's just easy to remember.
Yes. That's how I remembered. Uh-oh. Game is unpaused. We're doing it live right after a smoke.
Oh no. That's no good.
Tag me in, Yangon. I got it.
Gee, if I've seen you good Tidehunter performance, I don't know.
Look, just because you've been spamming a lot of Tidehunter recently doesn't give you the right to start being lippy. My Tidehunter's pretty good. I get a lot of good farm on that hero. It's just what I do with that farm. All right, Polaris, they're being good sports. They're saying use their time.
Damn. That's a mad respect right there. They're just like, guys, we'll make sure we can.
Did you see what Boomy just said?
What Boomy just say?
Just kidding. Can I resume?
Well, hopefully they...
Hey,
okay, there we go. Nice. Lun's back. Action. I mean, honestly, soon to break out. I know we had a bit of a break. But this game really starting to come out into what we're really hoping to be quite the entertainment. I mean, about to be 30 minutes in, and with only a 1,000 net worth lead. Yes, keep in mind, Radiant, they did take that tier 3 tower earlier. But there is action to be had on the map. Kills to be found, and Yangon to try and control top, sweep on forward. Young PH leading the charge. Shivas will grant them instantly a vision advantage to jump on forward with the older Titan, but they'll get nothing more out of it unless Boomy sticks around for a little bit too long. But he's got the blink, so he should make it away unless he's actually going to stick around. He's got Mac hand in hand. Mac should have revealed himself at the moment, forced to pop the BKB just to solely deal with the Earth Spirit. But luckily enough, he also has the Soulbind to lock back multiple heroes and raid it, but it's still going to cost him his life as Mac used up in the air. But as soon as he falls, it'll cost a drastic kill, as now Hao can look to push on forward for more. They've got the Yules on cooldown and Shivas as well. But now Natsumi, with enough distance, they're going to look to turn it back around. A BKB still not wasted yet with the battle chance. But the scurry to safety he has indeed.
See, I even got confused in that fight. I was like, oh, that's a nice Yules by the Lina to dodge the Boundless strike. It was the Lesh. The Lesh Yules to set up the Boundless. It was just a grief.
Well, Yangon nonetheless, though. A couple of kills. Now they're going to look to transition this again. A fight that's won without the Ravage. So if Polaris even think about defending this tower, then Lung can instantly jump and penalize them.
I mean, they could look to go to Roche. If it was me, I would definitely, yeah, now that the mid creep wave is pushed in next, I would definitely try and pop the Glyph of Fortification as quickly as possible. Just to make sure that while the Lina is still dead, you're able to deal as much damage to these towers as possible. Yeah, Glyph used, Echo Stomp dodged. They might look to stick around for this considering they didn't use the Ravage, but I think they're perfectly in their rights just to retreat and they'd be rewarded with a Roche.
All comes down to Nico and who he can jump on the back line. Yangon, they need a group up, form a perimeter around the Oracle, but Nico, with this BKB completed, it's going to just look to completely assassinate, but they don't have detection just yet. Zorain forced to use the ultimate defensively, and meanwhile Lon as well. It's not the greatest Ravage as Natsumi. He's timed the BKB to perfection, but at the moment the Troll has just got no damage. It's going to get ripped apart. The BKB's expired, so too has his life. Meanwhile, on top of the backline, Nico is still being a nuisance, but it's going to cost him his life as young PH can burn him to shreds thanks to the Pulse Nova. They've dealt with the monkey. Zoning Array, the Leshrac, has given them an ample time to go through the King, but still, it might cost them dearly as Leshrac falls further and further away, and Mac just remains undefeated as he's got this fresh Silver's Edge to make it a full 5-man wipe.
That's one of the things that you're able to do as Alina, right? Like, you just toss the Night Stalker onto the front lines, you toss the Troll Warlord in front of you. Yeah, it's unfortunate that he was the battle trance off after the BKB expired, but Max still made full use out of all of that that space was provided to him. He's even got the Enchanted Quiver as well, so that plus the Silver Edge dealing a ton of damage in all of these team fights. And, well, it felt like prior to Mac popping off right at the end there that it was looking like being a pretty damn even team fight. But now that Ravage was used, it's probably skewed a little bit more in Polaris's favor. Maybe they might just want to wait for that 50 seconds until they've got the Dark Ascension back available for themselves. And have a look at his quick buy. He's tired. He said, "What's that, Oracle? You survived a single time where I tried to go on you? No. Nullifier time."
Let's see if we're going to help out now against the Force Staff that's soon to be picked up from the Tidehunter. So, great item here from Nico. It's going to take him a while to get to that stage, but man, Boomy's farm. He's already completed an Aghanims after the blink too, so they've got this Dark Portrait to utilize. Lun, that's an ambitious blink, especially when they have the Silver's Edge. At least can play around. Nice false promise, but is it even going to be enough? Dire, they're just overwhelming them by the choke point of the Roche Pit, but how? Pounces from afar will drop the Wukongs. Now it's going to look to try and manfight Natsumi, but I don't know if they've got the damage at the moment. The bonus armor might just not be enough to be able to keep the Monkey King alive, but it's not. Natsumi will claim the kill, but it's still going to cost him his life as young PH will swing on over. The Leshrac has got way too much damage as he'll reign supreme.
He might be able to scurry on through as well. Maybe catch him. Maybe not. A couple of buybacks through from Yangon, so they're in two minds. You know, he's... Wait. How much experience did he get? 11,000 experience there on the Leshrac as a result of that, so brings him to level 26. All of those additional Diabolic Edict's explosions should take out Roche super quickly, especially since it was converted over to pure damage.
Nico, he's gonna make the play. Oh my god, he was so close. Wait, he lost a
Dire's
gem.
middle tower is under
That's
attack.
no good. Aghanim Shard picked up as well. Is Young PH gonna hold this? More than likely. He's already instantly TPing it inside the base as well.
Why
Even
not?
wanting more kills.
Structures.
Get it, scurry after it.
There's a base there, my guy. He ain't give no dams.
Dire's middle tower is under
The
attack.
power of the Scurry. Well, he's got his Ag Shard as well now, so good luck trying to contest into this this cheeky little Leshrac.
That's gonna be quite the difficult task. I believe that's overwhelming. Blink completed as well.
Dire's top
If he wants to buy it now off the courier. How do you take these fights? They've still got Ravage on Lun
Dire's middle tower has
and an
fallen.
incredibly deep Observer Ward as well that's going to scout out
Under attack.
whenever the heroes are coming outside the base. It's felt like really Troll hasn't been able to stand his ground in man fight through the entirety of this game. Doing whatever they can to protect this set of barracks at the mid.
The thing I've really liked about how Yangon have gone about this is that when he has been able to stand and fight, it's been against a Monkey King, and it's been against a Monkey King inside Wukong's with a BKB popped. So, like, he's getting a pretty decent trade with all of this, you know, holding onto the Elven Tunic, having the Eye of Skadi, just being a Monkey King with all of that lifesteal, and then dragging him further towards where the Leshrac wants to fight. So, I feel like Hao has an understanding of what Young PH wants to do in this game in particular.
And now they even have another way to protect themselves. E-Blade picked up on Skill Lay.
Radiant are scanning.
So
And
this
what is it with all these unconventional items? We've got a refresher orb being built up by the Monkey King now. Just wanting to, I suppose, lay it down over that high ground just to guarantee the tower.
Yeah, that's pretty much Megas right there. I mean, you got Split Earth plus Wukong's. How do you actually take a fight for Dire? I really want to see as soon as Dark Ascension's used, Yangon just huddle together.
Yeah, and as well, I want them to... They need to make sure that they use that Wukong super early in my eyes, because that actually provides you with a little bit of safety to actually just stand inside of the ring as this Oracle, and then suddenly you're not incredibly vulnerable, or at least not as much as you used to be. Like, Night Stalker has to make a choice. He doesn't just get free reign to do whatever he wants.
Refresher completed from Hal. They'd love for the monkey to complete the 25.
I'd love for him to have buyback or the Aegis as well, but it's not the case. So if they see him with it picked up, that's a pretty good indication that he spent a crap ton of gold. So might cause them to want to make a bit of an engagement happen. You have to feel so worried about just letting them push up onto your high ground, though. Like they'll know that he's got this available.
I feel like you have to mount a defense before it's set up.
Nico's doing his best to try and like drag a midwave back, but he's gonna need to join his team pretty damn quick.
They got I mean, all the lanes are shoved in pretty much, so backdoor protection would not be a threat. Split Earths, Wukong's, cool. How do you take a fight now? They'll use the Soulbind early, but jumping into this is almost impossible. So one ultimate down in regards to Dire. Maybe the Soulbind is at least as held back Hao from hitting the objectives. But look at the form of control you have in the vicinity.
So they actually just use the Dark Portraits on about 10% HP to loop around and run at Zorane's Oracle. Just leave the Pos 5s alone, man. Like, what is it with these people?
Natsumi, they might jump instantly, that they will. Young PH gonna try and be the target at the moment, but the Leshrac, of course, still has his second life to be able to utilize. But up with the backline, what a ravage! Lun finds a fall. Hao's gonna instantly jump on forward as well with the help of the Fairy Pony. The damage might just be too much for them to deal with. Natsumi, a great use of the BKB, is gonna try and target down Hao at the moment. Still, once again with the false promise, they haven't dealt with the Oracle. Zorane's still such a key component to keep them healthy through the fights. The Monkey King's still not down just yet. Mac is playing on the outskirts. They still haven't been able to deal with the Lina. These long-range attacks just ripping them apart has been enough of an opportunity for Polaris to be able to defend the last set of barracks. But Young PH, he wants a 1v5. The man against the world, it's just not gonna matter, as Mac will put him along with all of Radiant in the grave.
Oh, I'm stunned that they were able to take that team fight. You know, Did he pop the refresher? He did, but he wasn't able to. No, he even got the Wukongs off? Huh? I didn't see a second Wukongs come out there, but maybe that was because I was focused on Nico. Again, he went in super deep and he made sure he was catching 3 or 4 people underneath that crippling fear, gave them the space that they needed to for the rest of the team to just sit back and lay out the damage.
Gonna be such a huge swing as well, and not even the experience, also gold too, to keep in mind. I mean, it was about what, 7,000?
Polaris are 7 levels ahead across the
Yeah.
board, even though they're 2 lanes of racks and a tier 3 down.
Radiant's middle tower is under
a
attack.
big swing for the favor of Dire. I mean,
Radiant structures are fortified.
can they get at least a set? Bunky's up very, very shortly. Troll and Lena can push incredibly fast.
Radiant's middle tower
We'll
has
see
fallen.
one set claimed mid. They don't have any outer towers down bottom as well, but that's not going to matter as I don't think they'll stick around for too much longer.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
This is... You're now going up against the Troll with Satanic, Leveler as well, so just making sure he gets those further stacks even faster.
The big timing for me is Nullifier on Nico. I know it feels like I've focused on him a lot, but there's a good reason. Like this Oracle doesn't have a game anymore. Like you're going to be able to burst him in every single one of these team fights unless you like... Well, no, honestly, there's nothing that's going to save him. I was about to say unless he like uses a 4-staff on him. Nope. Glimmer Cape. Nope. Ghost Scepter. Nope. Nothing's going to save him. Ravage isn't going to be used because he's going to have BKB popped. He's even got the True Sight.
They smoked underneath an observe ward, so Polaris have completely set up in the vicinity. They've been able to break the tree, but the kick away. Beautiful timing. Is it going to be enough? They've ripped apart the Earth Sprint, but the main objective is the fact that they've been able to keep the Monkey King alive, but another incredible Ravages won't matter. The disarm is there on top of the backline, but Troll's getting kite at the moment. He's going to have to go through a second round of the Wukong command, but How will still fall. Again, Mac unscathed through the team fight as Polaris hold on by a strand.
Zoran's still stuck up here on the high ground, just being that extra little ward that his team needs, but
A tithe to the impurity.
even getting the Stormcrafter nicely done. It's crazy. Like I feel like that fight went pretty damn well for Yangon Galacticos at the very beginning. You know, the Ravage hitting onto a few different heroes. You had the Monkey King fighting inside 2 different Wukong's commands again. This time around, at least he's able to grab the Penta-Edge Sword though, so that's going to be a nice little damage bonus for him, just to be able to lay out that burst damage, particularly on the longer areas of the team fight.
And Dire.
Just seems like it's back and forth. I mean, this is the stage of the game, you know, I was talking about before, where using a smoke just to get a kill doesn't matter if it's a position 1, position 5, whatever. In the early stage of the game, let's say before 20 minutes, not worth it. You need to convert it into objective. At this stage of the game, 43
Lena's
minutes.
got a rapier.
Absolutely worth it.
Mac might just 2-hit the Oracle. I won't be able to resist that Laguna play. Look at the piercing damage. Still alive long enough. Lun's actually going to blink in. Hang on a second.
Nice Stormcrafter.
Play with the Stormcrafter. Powers up in a couple seconds as well. But Zorain not able to play around with the abilities to hold the life. So Mac, we've now freshly seen this rapier pick up on the Lena. We've well and truly been able to digest all the damage that she's been doing and the impact she's had through the fights. But that is now just going to skyrocket with the extra 350 damage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's one of these things. She's even got the Grove Bow as well, just providing the extra attack speed, the extra range. That Laguna Blade combined together. We've seen some good Inkswell combinations, plus the Soulblind, plus the Dark Portrait as well. I mean, again, it's getting to the stage where the stronger Hao gets, the stronger Boomy's going to get as well.
And we have been putting a lot of emphasis on Boomy throughout the early stages with his farm and what he was looking to start to itemize with. And it's going to get to a stage where he could consider a pretty costly item here next. Potential Hex with the Soulbind could be nice. Maybe a defensive factor as well if he really feels he has to go down that route to kind of help maybe a core keep their life.
Kind of also feels like it might not get to that stage as well, though, right? Like,
very true.
Roshan's going to respawn in the next 30 seconds, and that could be what decides the game. So both teams just waiting it out for now. It's 6k net worth lead for Polaris, despite being, again, 2 lanes of racks and a tier 3 down. Nighttime in 10 seconds, all ultimate cooldowns available.
Smoke up underneath the observer board. We saw what happened previously. When Polaris were able to scout out the smoke from Radiant, they could set themselves up with the formation, but Yangon not going to try and bear that task, as they will catch a glimpse of how retreating back to the safety of their high ground. Oh no, not this ward. It won them the last fight almost. Might do the same thing this fight as well. They've got the information to jump instantly on top of the backline. They'll deal with Zorain. They're going to look for one next as well. The Nullifier paying huge dividends in this team fight. Oh my lord, what an item from Nico to find these heroes. Now they're going to have to deal with the split away. Skill 8 might have another roll into the TP. It's just going to go straight forward. It's done a little bit too late, so he'll make it out.
He will. Roche is up though with a refresher shard, and you know that's exactly what you want if you're playing on this Troll Warlord. Honestly, even on the Night Stalker, it would be fantastic just to get an extra lot of the Nullifier or the BKB or the Dark Ascension. But yeah, that was the Soulbind Nullifier, so ended up connecting onto the Oracle and the Tidehunter at the same time. Get some pretty easy kills onto both of them, and this is so important, of course, for Mac, right? Divine Rapier picked up. You need that Aegis for that extra layer of security for yourself.
Radiant without Lun. Let's see how they can take the fight. Well, in fact, he's just going to buy back instantly. CML caught with his pants down in the river. He too will buy back.
They were banking on the ET not having buyback there with the buyback on the Tidehunter.
Hit the Observe Wood. Posturing
nice
very far on
Ravage.
the front line. The Ravage is going to clip all of them. Max still freely dishing out the damage on top of the back line. They've got to be cautious.
Gotta run the same direction.
The Wiccons could give them a little bit of area control to protect themselves away from the Lina. They need a reset. So one ultimate wasted from Hal, or used, I should say. But that is a big buyback from Natsumi.
It is, and the Laguna Blade actually hit into the Fate's Edict, so really nicely done by Zorain to be able to protect Skill A. He didn't have buyback if he fell down there, so considering Roshan still there, you've now got a 5v4 team fight. Refresher Orb available again for the Monkey King. Probably wants to wait until he pops that BKB before he uses it though. So it's going to be so hard. Like, look at these Leshrac stuns just inside the pit, preventing any kind of Polaris aggression from coming out here. Understandably, they're very hesitant as well with the Tidehunter, considering he doesn't have the Ravage.
Do you feel like Yangon are forced to stay in this area? Maybe they're worried about Polaris just sneaking forward. I mean, you could take it so fast with a Lina and a Troll, but I mean, you just bought back on Natsumi. You could really just wait 45 seconds, have Ravage up, go again, and if you get a kill on the Troll, then there's a big window to take this game. That opportunity will not arise.
Well, yeah, the thing I'm more hesitant about is that, yes, it's important for waiting for Ravage, but Elder Titan is one of the best heroes at contesting Roche, so I feel like they've got to take their opportunity while they can.
My 5 men.
It's really getting to the stage where, I mean, maybe not while he's got Rapier, but I was about to say, like, maybe Mac can even look to put a little bit of pressure onto this bottom side of the map, considering he's got the Boots of Travel and can quickly rejoin the rest of his team. Instead, young PH is going to be the one down here, and with Elder Titan respawning, you have to be careful about where exactly he does end up showing himself.
Set in stone.
Tidehunter's around, Ravage available.
Nico.
Just buy. I feel like he just spent a lot of money, but doesn't really look like it.
Who's this?
Tide.
He bought back previously.
No, I guess. Satanic's definitely going to help with the Lina. Probably just one hit needed to bring him back to full.
I mean, it has given time for both teams to have their ultimates to come back up. Dark Ascension in the next 10 seconds. Nightstalker still looking for the Arcane Blink, which is a perfect way to have almost no downtime.
Man, Lina, her main focus is going to be on this Leshrac. As soon as that BKB is off on the Leshrac, Lina is going to turn 100% of her focus towards them. Because, I mean, you're a Lina, right? You're an absolute machine gun. You've got the Divine Rapier, and look at the neutral item she's holding. 4% max mana on a Leshrac is going to be dealt with every single attack.
Oh. Now, let's see, young PH, how this armor's going to come into effect. They're just going to look to start Roche. Force Polaris to come to them.
Why not? Nearly daytime. They got to make a decision.
He'll miss on the LSA. They're even just going to drop the Wukongs to try and secure Roshan. And how do you snag this? Look at the extra ring commands. There's just no way you can get anywhere near the vicinity to the pit. But Yangon will pick it up. Hao gets the refresher shot as well. Everything claimed at the moment for the Monkey King.
The Inkswell illusion just bullying him as much as he could. A little surprised they didn't try and set it in there to at least try and deny the Aegis or anything like that. But yeah, eventually Mac does go to the bottom side of the map, look to pressure it out a little bit more. I mean, he'd bought a plate mail previously, and I was like, okay, well, maybe he'll look to combine it into something like, I don't know, an AC, just to provide that little extra damage potential. But he's going back on his thoughts a little bit here, looking to go into the refresher orb for himself.
This is a scary prospect if they're fighting into a DD on Mac. Don't do it, Hal. I was gonna say, that is not the high gun you want to run up to into a 800 plus damage dealing Lina with crits available. And they're just gonna look for their last set of barracks. I mean, really, Radiant could play with 3 Wukong. Not that they would ever need it. I believe they gave the shard to Tide.
And
Yeah, they did. They did.
Might have been. Oh, just then.
Yeah, Lun's chilling. So, see how they can start. Again, like, what do? You got to jump before Wukongs and Split Earth this job. I do not think you can take a fight once all of these abilities are on the ground. Some way you need to wrap around. They're going to make the attempt. Nico starting. Boom is going to follow up as well. They're going to try and obliterate the Oracle. Get rid of that second life capability with the false promise. But still, you've got to keep tabs on how and the Lena's positioning as well. They haven't found their target just yet. A 1-for-1 to start, but they needs the buyback for the Grimstroke. But where's the extra catch? Is Polaris stalking their prey? Nico, he's got that vision advantage. Keeping tabs on Hal. They're getting pushed further and further outside the base. Maybe this is the spot for Yangon now to turn it back around.
They just got to be patient on Yangon.
Just waiting for the wing. Trying to find the opening.
It's daytime again. Like, now they can look to re-engage if they wanted to.
And the
You've got the Ravage available. Yeah, creeps are in the base. You can catch them on the retreat.
Oh, they don't have vision.
It's a long TP. It's daytime.
Oh. He's still buyback on cooldown. Yeah, 2 minutes still from the troll. So honestly, got pretty lucky there. Radiant, they didn't commit too heavily. I mean, 1 Wukong's, it's pretty much back up. They've still got Ravage. Oracle, who brought back? It was Grimstroke and I believe someone else?
No, just Grim.
Okay. We'll see how different that fight was without the splitters and mass amount of Wukongs just on 1 choke point. Like, you did a very solid job from Dai just to be able to jump on the backline and do not allow Yangon to get set up.
I feel like they're still just playing a little bit too far apart on Yangon Galacticos. Like, obviously you don't want us to be standing on top of each other because then it's going to set up for an amazing Inkswell and Earth Splitter and Echo Stomp and all that sort of stuff. But you've got to be in the same general vicinity. Like, in my eyes, there shouldn't be a situation where Nightstalker's allowed to, with his Nullifier, just run at Zorain on his Oracle and then just deal with him. Like, he should have to fight into a Wukong's command, at least on the backside, especially considering you've got the extra ring to it now.
Wow, Natsumi's even holding an Aeon disc as well. I have to imagine just solely off the back that he bought out previously.
Has to be careful that it doesn't get popped as well by this gush that Lun's just launching from afar.
I'd love to pop this at the start. Almost been able to do so. First Wukong shot once again. Lun's actually going to look to jump in, but there's the Aeon disc. So completely nullifying the Ravage. Lun's going to look to pop the refresher shard. Meanwhile, all the way on the back line, Nico's just going to force out a solo false promise, but the crits enough to deal with the first life. Will he have enough time to pop the refresher for the BKB? They won't give him the opportunity. There's a beautiful timing. Mac protected with the BKB, but it's about to expire. They need to get straight on top of the Lina to be able to deal with the Rapier. Disarm is out. Young PH is locked onto his target without the BKB to protect. The Rapier's on the deck. Someone needs to snag it up. Young PH going to be able to do so successfully, but Natsumi A stun pushes him further and further back. I don't know if you can even kill up the Leshrac. Lean is lacking so much damage now without the Reaper, and now the Wukong controlling the vicinity and bringing them all down 4-0 as Yangon Galacticos taking game 1.
Very nicely done by Yangon, and you know, some good sportsmanship. We need to remember that, of course, coming through from Polaris, allowing them to come back into this game after a bit of a PC crash happened there for Lund. So well-deserved win, and good to see some solid team play coming out from the C region.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Yangon, it's a team who also started the day 1-5, bottom of the table, but the fact they're able to bring the heat to Polaris, who we did see earlier in the day kind of struggle versus Motivate Trust, so they now are 3 games in a row that they've lost. But and Yangon, like you said, I mean, just the execution. I loved how they really played around a lot of the area denial that you had through Split Earth and Wukongs. They just recognize that we have this big factor that the enemy team can't utilize, and let's really just push it to the metal, and really that's what they did.
I'm honestly surprised at how long Zorain was able to survive. You know, like he survived through that entire Night Stalker being on top of him, and he dragged him as far away from the team fight as he thought. So I'm thinking that you're definitely going to die if Night Stalker jumps on top of you, considering he was level 26, considering Dark Ascension was popped for it, and considering he had the Nullifier plus the Penta Edge Sword. But instead, he just doesn't die. So yeah, Zorain didn't need the rest of his team to be able to survive. And, you know, the counterpoint to that is that, yes, you were able to kill the Monkey King, but once that Lina drops down, which will happen when you don't have the silence affecting multiple heroes on the enemy team, then, yeah, your team fight's done. Yangon Galacticos, well-deserved victory, and MVP Young PH, you'd have to say.
Yeah, without a doubt. Young PH, exceptional performance, and all of Yangon as well, has to be said. We've been saying that a lot today, but it's really nice to see when a team is able to take a game that everyone is chipping in, doing exactly what they need to do. But for Yangon, like we said, I mean, they were 1-5 coming into today. You know, they've been able to at least start the day off well, and for Polaris, they're looking for at least, you know, some signs of hope, something to end the night on with a you know, at least a good footing here. But you know, last game of the night should be coming up shortly. We'll see Polaris are going to drop 0-4 for today, or if Yangon, you know, can take the series 2-0, we'll find out shortly.